Okay, in this video I'm going to talk about how I repaired my Sony Bravia 55-inch TV. It's a KDL-55, but this should help you repair any kind of LCD TV built probably between 2005 and today, 2020. So I already took the back of the TV off. I used the power drill in this case. You don't need to, you can use a screwdriver. The drill's not going to hurt anything, it just makes everything go faster. For this KDL-55, you don't need to remove this panel. What's behind there is just the LCD itself. Can't access anything behind that panel. What you do need to remove is the bottom part near all the electronics, and that'll be pretty self-explanatory where to remove those screws to get it off. So let's see, where do I begin with this? The TV was playing fine one day and it just, lack of a better term, crapped out. It's only 5 years old. I just refused to accept that it was going to be broken, and there had to be a way to fix it. So basically figured out how these things work. They're pretty simple in their operation in terms of their different systems and how they interface with each other. So the first thing you have here is your power cord. I'm going to remove this, it's a little tight. You can check and see if your power cord's working by putting a meter, the positive pin on the center pin and the ground on the outside sheath. You should read some voltage. It's probably going to vary per TV, but if you're reading voltage out of there, generally you're probably going to ensure that your power cable and your inverter there are working. Next, I thought maybe the power board was busted. Wasn't quite sure what the voltages should read, but essentially you can check your power board by plugging power into the TV and then using a meter to read the voltages on each pin. Again, you might be able to look online to tell your TV, find a manual, a repair manual that would tell you what each one of those voltages of the pins should read. I didn't find one, but in general, I found at least 4 of the pins return the same voltage as the power cable. Before I figured this all out, actually, I bought another power panel on eBay. Turned out that's not the problem. So one last way you can figure out where the voltages should go. On some of the boards, there's a voltage print next to some of the pins, and basically if you use the meter, it will read the same voltage as printed. On this TV, it doesn't show that. Another thing you can do that's probably common with these things breaking is inspect the capacitors. That's these 6 can-looking things. If a capacitor is busted, you'll probably see it domed at the top. None of my capacitors looked busted and voltages read normally, but in any case, just to get things done in case it was actually broken, I also bought, like I said, I bought that for $15 on eBay out of a cracked a TV with a cracked screen. So I should back up for a minute. If you have a cracked screen, that's a different problem, and it's probably not worth repairing. So this is only troubleshooting electrical problems. So we just went over power. Power then interfaces with what they call the mainboard here. That's this unit. What you're seeing here is actually 2 boards, the mainboard and the TV tuner. The TV tuner didn't seem to be like it would be part of my problem, so I ignored the diagnosis of it. In my case, the TV just went totally static and partially with green bars. I didn't think that was indicative of a TV tuner issue. Anyway, here's the main board. The main board's basically screwed in there. You can swap it, pretty straightforward. There's some USB ports here which came into play later, and this particular TV has 4 HDMI boards. These connectors, most of them, 1, 2, 3, they pull out pretty easily. They have tabs. I actually broke some of the tabs, but as long as the connectors fit back properly, breaking the tab's not a problem. The delicate connector is this, I think it's called LDVS cable. The LDVS cable, there's a variety. Basically, it's a ribbon cable that's going to go from your main board to what they call a timing control board, which you can't see here, but it's underneath this panel. The main board sends a signal through this ribbon cable to the timing control board, and then the timing control board interprets those signals as to how to display them on the LCD. It's a bit complicated. Anyway, point being, this ribbon cable is very delicate. I didn't exactly know how to remove this ribbon cable. Usually they have a mechanism that you flip that piece up and then it relieves pressure on top of the cable like a clamp, and you can pull the cable out. This Sony Bravia didn't have that. I ended up just very carefully wiggling and pulling it from here with both my hands, one finger here, one finger here, and that released the cable. Luckily I didn't break the cable. I was able to get the main board out. Went to website, Googled the part number, found the part number on here, assumed that was the part number. You can also find same or different similar number that'll bring you to the same part, print it somewhere on the board. Can't quite show you with this camera, but was able to go online and order that circuit board. They call it Mainboard A in this case, from a website. I think it was called tvrepairnow.com. Also, the website, they do have a return policy, so they understand that this kind of stuff is difficult to troubleshoot. So you can basically order any part for your TV there, and for a 20% restocking fee, return it if that's not your problem. So I end up spending $52 on the main board, and I spent another $15 on eBay to get that power board. Now, like I said, the power board was an issue, but I'm going to keep one in my back pocket to keep this TV going because it's only 5 years old and I really like it. What else? Those parts, by the way, that you can buy, they're mostly harvested out of TVs with cracked screens, or so the website claims. I was kind of expecting that I'd get a bad board, but the boards indicated that they had some kind of quality control. There was a QC written on them, so maybe these guys that sell them actually test it, but they say they're out of broken TVs with broken screens, not broken electronics, obviously. So again, a review: power cable to your power board, to your main board, then your main board LDVS ribbon cable to the timing control unit. Last thing here that interfaces with this is your speakers, which are pretty straightforward. So trying to think what else is helpful. Can't really think what else. Anyway, so I swapped the main board out, but that wasn't the end of the issue. The TV then powered up. It showed signs of life, but it was indicating in the Sonys, it was indicating, this Sony was indicating a green and orange flashing light on the front panel, which I can't show you right now. But I Googled that, and that says you need to update the firmware on the main board. So when I bought the main board, I didn't see, or it shipped to me, I guess, without a firmware update. It's probably from an older TV. I was able to go on sony.com/support, enter the model number. I was able to download to a USB drive a firmware update Sony had very explicit instructions, and you can ask me in the comments how to fix that, or how to do that process, or how to point you towards it. But very explicit instructions on how to load the firmware update, download to the USB drive, and then the process of updating the firmware without a working television. So basically, long story short, you turn the TV on, you plug in the USB drive, and you let it do its thing. It showed no indication that it was updating. I just let it run for 30 minutes and came back to look at it, and TV was working. So again, this is the basics of how to repair an LCD TV. This is a Sony Bravia, but any other LCD TV is probably going to be the same process, same parts. It's really not that complicated. I'll just say that it's environmentally friendly to repair your own TV, and obviously you save money, but that's not exactly why I did it. Did it for the challenge, and I just think that people should be aware of the right to repair. It's a movement that electronics shouldn't be disposable, and that manufacturers should support the repair of these devices. So that's it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to help you out. Thanks.